as we mentioned, a key part of FRC Media News each week will be speaking with Will Richmond, the digital city editor for the Fall River Herald News. And Will joins us from the conference room at the Herald News in downtown Fall River. Will, thanks for joining us, and we're really looking forward to this partnership as we move forward.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Keith. I know we're looking forward to seeing what we can do to promote this program and get the news out there.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it. And, we worked out a system where you're actually going to be in the office, so you don't have to come in here each week. And so far, so good in terms of the technical side of things. I want to start off, let's get right into some of the news of the week. Mayor Correa has been in office just a little over 3 weeks. One of his big platforms thus far has been the reorganization of city government. He has laid off a couple of key department heads already. He is looking to reorganize the Department of Community Maintenance. So there was some movement on that this week. He actually was before the City Council to talk about some of those issues as part of the Finance Committee. Actually, he didn't start. It was actually Kathy Ann Viveras who actually started the meeting. But then the mayor actually found himself as part of the meeting to sort of defend some of the moves he's already done. That's sort of interesting. We usually don't see that, do we? A mayor before the City Council too often.
Yeah, it's certainly unusual to see the mayor show up before the council. I think we saw Sam Sutter do it at one point. Actually, as he discussed his own personnel choices in his office, I believe it was last year, and Will Flanagan made an appearance or two, especially around the budget time. But especially for this early into the term, it is pretty unusual. And it certainly seems that Mayor Correa wants to get his point across to the council, and if it's coming direct from the horse's mouth, that may not be a bad thing.
Right. It seems like during the exchange, the mayor had mentioned that, he's given some of this information to some of the councilors. The councilors said, well, you really haven't given us a lot of the story. Is there a possibility here that there could be some contentious times between the mayor and the council?
Well, I think part of it is we are 3-4 weeks into the beginning of the new term. There's probably a feeling out period that is taking place here, even if all sides may not realize it yet. But there's a lot of new councilors. You have a new mayor who is coming on very strong right to begin with, several initiatives. And I think there's just a feeling out that needs to take place. Lines of communication need to be opened up. And I think with time, this could be a better situation from both sides. But they're still feeling each other out, it seems.
Right. Obviously, we'll see more as it progresses. Mayor is working on the fiscal 2017 budget, which is before him and his staff, and I'm sure we'll find out more about his reorganization plans very soon. Just to switch gears, in related to that, in budget items, the city this week received word that they're going to be receiving a little over $1 million for police and fire needs. What does this mean, Will, and is it any different from any type of grants that the city has gotten in the past, which has led to some problems, specifically in the fire department?
Well, certainly this is a grant that the fire department has received fairly annually the last couple of years. The police department has received this grant. The fire department, this is the first year these funds were made eligible for the fire department. Through an amendment that was pushed by Senator Rodericks. So that helps them. This does not come with some of the same ties that the SAFER grant comes with, okay, and also the size of the SAFER grant, which caused a lot of the problems in the fire department. I think we came to find that while it was exciting to be awarded the largest grants ever in SAFER grant history, it came with a lot of problems at the end of those grants. This is a much smaller amount, should hopefully be more manageable, and something that the department can plan on going forward.
And it would be mainly, from what I understand, just sort of a supplemental funding. It's not necessarily going to bring on many firefighters or many police officers. It's more of a supplemental funding that may maintain what they have. Is that safe to say, or?
Yeah, the city has ID'd these funds to maintain staffing or get hires through that they've been making. So, this doesn't come with the same caveats as the SAFER grant that we're more familiar with in the fire department. It will maintain staffing going forward, and that's the important thing. It's better than losing staffing.
All right, other local economic news. The city found out this week that its unemployment rate went up a little bit to 8%. I guess that's sort of a seasonal thing that we see here after the holiday season and some part-time and temporary holiday jobs are let go, and the city's unemployment rate went from 7.1 to 8%. That's been a trend pretty much year in and year out, right?
Yeah, that's not uncommon for this time of year as we start to see, I think, even some of the seasonal jobs from the summer and fall that start coming off the books as well. So this increase is not unexpected, though I know city officials, especially led by Ken Fiola in the Frowhead office, believe that there's sort of an unfortunate way they calculate these numbers that also help to lead to the increase. But for what the amount of the increase is, it doesn't raise any red flags or concerns of a long-term unemployment increase here.
And the city still unfortunately ranks as one of the higher regions in terms of unemployment in the state. Is that correct?
It does, but it's certainly not uncommon, its number alongside other urban areas and gateway cities in Massachusetts. So on a comparative basis to those like-sized cities, it still remains kind of right in the area.
Right.
It's bad.
One final article of the week is actually breaking news as we're recording this show on Thursday, the death of Providence Mayor Buddy Cianci earlier today. And you posted today an article not only about the former mayor's passing, but also his relationship with former Mayor Will Flanagan. Talk about that.
Certainly Will Flanagan built up a close relationship with Buddy Cianci over the years. It happened pretty early on after his election as mayor, and they stayed in regular touch. From what Will had said today, they often had dinner together. They continued to have monthly conversations since Will left office at the about a year ago. So it was a nice moment. I know he was close with him, and
Right.
he's sad to have seen him go.
Right. All right, Will, what can we expect this weekend at the Herald News, and maybe what we can look forward to next week?
Well, our big Sunday piece this week is going to take a look at parenting in the current generation, the explosion of technology, and those types of things, and how they affect kids and their parents. And then heading into next week, I'm sure we'll continue to be tracking the mayor's reorganization and keeping our fingers crossed that there's no snow.
Very good, Will. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks a lot.
All right. Sounds good, Keith.